私はあなたと心中するために今日まで生きてきたのです。きっとそうです。だぜ。
Lamb? Merlin said, interrupting. Oh, Lamorak! He's an excellent knight. Dude, Kay said. Lamb is fluid. They. Oh, apologies. Merlin's face blotched with red. I, come from a society with a history of gender assumptions based on physical markers, aesthetics. You, Ari said. That's wicked sad, Kay added. Merlin, at least, looked deeply ashamed. You've no idea. This book said, your gender binary. Alright, what book is it? Hang on a second. I haven't read it, but after a bit of searching, I want to say it's probably Once and Future by Amy Rose Capetta and Corey McCarthy.
You removed my what? I removed your pronouns while you were sleeping last night. No. Why are you shaking and crying and getting your gender fluids all over my hardwood floors? That's not polite.
1 minute you are really in the mindset of feeling as a male, and your voice might deepen, your mannerisms go different ways, your swag, and then you turn around a few minutes later, not saying turn around, but then a few minutes later, inside, mentally, you snap in and you might feel a little feminine. You might go outside and have a skirt on, and then you feel like, wow, I feel real good. I'm with my girls or my friends, my boy, however you identify with that presented. And then a day later, you wear the same skirt, well, not the same skirt, another skirt or another feminine apparel, and you feeling crazy, like, not like, okay, I need to switch out, but like really feeling like this is not the same person. I struggled with that a lot when I was younger. Every gender fluid person does not have dysphoria, and dysphoria is when you go out, you feel presentable, and then you might wear something and then you feel crazy. It could be your body part, it can be the apparel you're wearing. Anything will make you feel like you're not in the same, you don't feel in the same frame that you're supposed to be in. So not every gendered or non-binary person has dysphoria.
One thing that's helped me on my gender journey is keeping a daily log of my mood and where I feel on the gender spectrum.
We were wrong. It wasn't pangender who was the one to fear, it was genderfluid. They could become anything, anyone. Their disguises are infallible. If you're receiving this transmission, please save us and help us stop them.
Hey dummy.
Oh hey Cass.
Hey dummy, you called?
Wait a second, Cass.
Yep.
If you're you, then who's? Oh no.
I'm not sure if this counts as a misconception, but the topic of gender fluidity and there being more than two genders is not a new conversation. It might be new to Western societies that have been built from gender binaries, but for a lot of indigenous and foreign cultures, it's been a topic of discussion for centuries, and a widely respected conversation at that. The idea or acceptance of people who are two-spirited or those who don't fit into a binary have been introduced to indigenous cultures of North America and the Pacific for a while, also Southeast Asia, also ancient Egypt, and also ancient Greece, so I guess not all Western civilizations are exempt. In India, a lot of their mythologies and ancient scriptures refer to there being more than one gender, some scriptures stating that there is as many as 20 to 28 different genders. The sad part though is that a lot of this information in history has been erased or looked over due to colonization. Gender is a social construct, so it shouldn't surprise us that it's been reconstructed in different cultures in different ways.
There's a spider. So what you want me to do? Kill it! You saw it first! You kill it! You're the man! Since when?
What if we're men and we were women too? What if we're both?
One of the things I like most about being on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch is when people come out to me. I feel so happy and proud of that person because it takes a lot of courage and strength of finding themselves. And before you ask, I'm perfectly happy to be the person you come out to. If no one is there for you, I want to be that person that can pick you up in your time of need and tell you just how proud I really am of you. That's, well, why I became a creator in the first place. My goal is to make a community where everyone can feel comfortable, laugh, and have a good time. I promise to be your comfort streamer, YouTuber, TikToker, anything. I just want to make you happy. That's my goal.
Oh, these are pretty cool bananas.
Hey, can I ask you a couple questions about Sac State?
Good, man? You alright? Well, I mean... You doing okay? You sure? Are you good, man?
Nobody likes me, everybody hates me. They want me to go eat some worms. Track my name through the mud, through the dirt, but I'm gonna make you eat your worms.
Okay, I don't mean to offend anyone, but I'm just curious, like, how do gender fluid people know what pronouns they're using that day? Or like on any day? Like, do they just like go to their dresser and open up the pronoun drawer like... Yeah, Yeah, fucking anything, man.
Weird things about being gender fluid. Is it worth investing in a good binder? I don't know if these feelings are attraction or gender envy. Names.
A reminder, speaking of gender fluidity, is, you know, Aang is Kyoshi, Aang is Roku, Aang, we are, like, the gender is incidental.
Exactly.
And so I think I love that sort of relationship where you really have this connection of Aang with his female avatar.
So my gender changes depending on time. I don't mean like every day or like every month. It's not like on a schedule or something. It just kind of over time slightly changes. This is different for every gender fluid person though, because some people don't even like fit the, like they don't go the whole scale. They just have like part of a scale that they move between, or like, you know, they don't move very much really. It's different for everyone. For me, I would say I'm like in the masculine, like leaning feminine kind of side of the scale, and I stay in that range. Some days I feel like a feminine boy, and some days I feel like a masculine girl, and some days I feel like neither, and some days I feel like all the gender, and I want all the gender. And yeah, I can be kind of selfish in that way, gender selfish, because I want all the gender. But that's how I've always felt. I always felt like being just a girl wasn't really enough for me. I am AFAB, which means assigned female at birth. And that just means that the doctor pulled me out and was like, hey, that looks like lady bits. And then I was a lady. And I am still, but I am more than just that. And that's what being gender fluid means to me.
That's the greatest thing in Minecraft. Since I'm gender fluid, I think that all of the Minecraft mobs, I think they're gender fluid as well, because they don't have any gender, even so they can fornicate with each other. So I think all the creatures in Minecraft, damn it, they're so cute! I can't concentrate! Ah, look at him! Ah, you cute little shit. Anyway, what I was trying to say is that I think that all the creatures in Minecraft are gender fluid, because the cows, they can all mate with each other, so they make babies, but all of them have others, so all of them can make milk, so all of them are female, but how can they make babies? So I think the same goes with every animal can mate with each other and make babies, and it doesn't it doesn't seem like there's a female and a male. And I quite like that with the game, because no one questions it. It just makes sense.
Smooth like butter, like a criminal undercover. Don't pop like trouble, breaking into your heart like that. Cool shade, southern, yeah, oh, it.
Being two-spirit, or gender fluid for white people, doesn't mean you're less than anything. In fact, you're the greatest you can be. So every bit of white DNA you see, these eyes, these pale skin, my native Mexican mother paid for. She paid for these genes in fear that I would be hurt. And it almost doesn't matter because I was hurt anyway by society at large. So just be you and don't ever try to be anything else.
Things about being gender fluid. The feeling of guilt when your gender aligns with the one you were assigned at birth, not feeling valid, and as though you've been lying about your identity.
Some days I do feel male, some days I do feel female. Now, it's weird for me, and shouldn't be happening, but it's happening. Certain parts of the day, I switch.
Okay, it's perfectly normal. Yeah, meteo.
So you guys kind of know where I'm kind of getting at. It's at this point, I put all my gender fluid on the floor.
Wow, did you really?
I spilled all of my gender fluid.
Did you really? A damn reveal though, you know.
I came out the shower and all of my fluid just decided to just flow out. And I slipped on my gender fluid. Obviously, when you have gender fluid all over your body, yeah, you can't ignore it because you're wet from all the fluids, all the fluids.
I love you.
If this comparison intrigues you, and you're a fat non-binary person looking for tips, I got you.
Originally from Flint, Michigan, where I've only trained as a male dancer in ballet, and when I came to PMB, they opened up a lot of doors for me and were open to a lot of conversations to allow me to start dancing on point. And so now I'm doing everything, I guess. Yes. Female and the male classes. Usually men don't go on point, and it's very binary, and men have their own separate training for jumps and turns. But for male to be on point at a professional ballet school right now hasn't really happened, so...
That's where you come in.
Yeah. But it's been tough because as I'm learning so many new things, a lot of obstacles in my way, especially being home and not being able to work directly with teachers and be hands-on, which is a big part of ballet.
While you're at home, training on your own, people have rallied in their fundraising for you, as they say, to keep Ashton dancing.
I was shocked. Yeah, dancing has just always been something I love, but to know that it's like affecting people and people are reaching out to me saying like I'm inspiring them, it's been incredible. I never expected it.
You know that you can call me when you want, call me when you need, call me in the morning, I'll be on the way. Call me when you want, call me when you need, call me out by your name, I'll be on the way. Like, call me by your name, tell me you love me.
LGBTQ gender identity terms that you might not have heard of before, but I will explain to you. What is gender fawn?
Someone who is gender-fawn experiences fluctuations in gender, but never fluctuates to any feminine gender. For example, they could fluctuate from feeling a masculine gender, an unaligned gender, or a genderless gender, such as agender, but they never fluctuate to any feminine genders, such as demigirl, female, anything in between that, like Libra feminine. Some people would consider it to be a non-feminine subset of gender fluid, so you just fluctuate to everything apart from feeling feminine. This is the other side of gender fey, which I explained in a previous video. Now, just like gender fey, there is a subset to this which is called gender fawnit. Someone who is gender fawnit experiences fluctuations in gender and can experience feminine genders, but never feels fully female. This is the opposite to gender feyer. Here's a short paragraph describing it. You can pause the video.
Just accept it. I'm gender fluid. Stop kicking up such a fuss. You claim I don't exist. I'm not valid. But newsflash, I don't actually give a fuck. You really think after years of bullying all through school for being different that you can actually faze me? That's adorable.
I decided that instead of wearing a dress to homecoming, because I knew my mom was going to be away on a business trip, I was going to wear a vest and tie and a button-up and slacks and like nice dress shoes, and I wore that to my homecoming. And I just remember one of my teachers being like, "Oh my god, you look so handsome," and I was like, "Really?" I was like, "I look handsome?" I was like, "Thank you." And like, it was like at that moment, like, I keep saying this a lot, I'm like, when everything like clicked, but it was like, it was right then and there where I knew I shouldn't be closeted about this stuff, because having people tell me that felt amazing.
For now, I identify myself as a gender fluid. At first, I thought it was gay, but then again, during the 90s, the gender identification is quite limited to like being gay, bisexual. So there's just a certain categories during that time. During like 2 or 3 years ago, that's when I realized that I may have fit into this particular category. The coming out process happened naturally because, yes, the tendencies are there. The family is quite aware of it, but then again, we have to talk about it at a certain point of my particular life. So, yes, I had come out siguro mga around 19 years old. Well, since the family is quite supportive, I think I'm kind of lucky about that one. The support of the parents is important, and acceptance of the parent is important to make us feel that we are a part of the family as well. Of course, yung father, it's kind of a different reaction. Siyempre, my father was a bit traditional, so he has this expectation of what guys should do, what women should do. Then again, over a period of time, he was able to embrace the fact that that was my chosen identity. I just have to prove to him that I was able to stand up on my own and, kind of responsible of things and yung mga decisions ko in life. It's something that I took ownership with.
I identify as both male and female. It's really funny because actually when I first came out as trans, when I was like 18, so like 10 years ago, I actually came out as gender fluid. And after a while, I was like, no, this isn't for me. I'm actually more a binary trans man, and I dropped that label. And now 10 years later, I'm like, you know what, actually, I think baby me was onto something.
The issues that arise in the intersection of LGBTQ plus identity and race isn't just experiencing homophobia, transphobia, and racism. It's also the fact that queer and trans identity is in itself a culture, and that for people who are POC, whose cultures are often erased, trying to balance that, keeping that culture alive in their life while also respecting their queer and trans identity can be difficult.
led me to just like push all of that week of questioning deep down and like not even touch it. But now that I was kind of aware of these shifts in my experience, and I think I became aware of this partially because I had become aware of my sexuality, and I had started to realize that there's more to life and identities and experiences than just what society tells you. I think that's kind of what opened up the door to allow me to realize that, you know, my gender is not just being a cisgender woman. But again, I pushed it deep down because I was scared. I had no idea what was happening. I thought I made things up, and I was also really mostly afraid that if I were not a woman that I could not be a lesbian. And I love being a lesbian. I loved it back then, I still love it now. Even in the times when I don't feel connected to womanhood, I still love the word lesbian, and I loved the community that I had formed and the sense of identity that I had formed back in 2016 when I first came out. And I was really scared to lose that because I didn't realize that non-binary lesbians are a thing.
George Washington's yielding his power and stepping away. Is that true? I wasn't aware that was something a person could do.
What did I ever do to you?
You can be gender fluid between woman and non-binary. You can be gender fluid between other genders as well, like anything. Just that's basically the conventional definition of what it means to be gender fluid. And for me, my personal identity around it is that, so I'm a man and a woman and also non-binary, but not in the way that society genders me. So like, I'm a man and a woman, but not in the conventional sense of what men and women mean. And my basic desire surrounding this is that I would like to construct my own sense of gender instead of be passively assigned a gender in every social interaction. And so that's my identity.
You don't like to sit right, party in the spacecraft, see my step and zip right, TV at your function, you don't know what it means, space sports with space dreams, cake creams and raisins. I got my Baby, how many times do we have to answer this question? Like, what's not clicking? We're boys that dress up as drag queens. Let's get this straight. Being trans is who you are. And being a drag queen is just turning yourself into your inner superstar. So next time you ask someone if they're a trans, or if they're a drag queen, or a boy, or a girl, or what's going on downstairs, instead ask yourself, how can I be more like them? Because they're clearly living their best life.
I came out as gender fluid. It's a nice, it's an all-encompassing term for me because I've been, for lack of a better term, I've been cross-dressing since I was a teen, and I came out 2 years ago. It's not drag, it's not performative, it's more of an identity-based thing. I live my life half and half at this point. And that's the thing. A lot of people, like 2 years in the game, I'll post a picture of myself looking cute. I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring out fashion. With my bro-y mind, trying to piece it together, I'll post a picture of myself where I think I look cute, and then a lot of the drag people who think it's drag will be really tough and unfair. You know what I mean? They'll hold me to those drag standards, and they'll comment underneath, and they're vicious as fuck. They're mean. They'll be like, girl, you ain't working. That shit ain't matching. What are you doing? Who dresses you? Do you even shave yourself? You're a disgrace to the art form. I'm like, I'm too. All right, you wouldn't go up to a 2-year-old in a stroller and be like, bitch, who dresses you? You looking haggard as shit. You ratchet little bitch. Your jumper doesn't match your stroller. You're a disgrace to the art form. Do you even tuck? I can see your package hanging out there. I'm two. I don't know, being gender fluid, this is like the new way, 2020, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a new frontier, you know? And I like being on the edge of it. But like, if you guys want to imagine what I look like the rest of the time, like the rest of the time I am a dude, I'm a bro-y dude. If you want to imagine what I look like when all this shit comes off, just imagine, close your eyes and picture this. You're at a convenience store, you're prowling around, prowling. I don't know why I use that term. You're prowling the aisles. You're perusing the aisles, and you hear a voice, a disjointed voice, 2 aisles over, just announced to no one in particular. Oh, sick, you guys have Mountain Dew Code Red? And that's me.
What's wrong with being? What's wrong with being? What's wrong with being confident?
I don't know how many more people there are out there that feel somewhat fluid, somewhat confused sometimes about their gender, and that's okay. You can feel like that. You shouldn't feel a pressure to live as one or the other. You shouldn't feel a pressure to be pushed into one direction. You can be fluid, you can be ever-changing. It makes it confusing for people, but who gives a what it makes for other people? It's confusing enough for us in our minds.
There will be people who I will never speak to again, maybe from high school, and they probably won't remember me, but if they do, they'll always think of me as what I thought I was, which is obviously the default setting, because nobody told me otherwise. If an angry person somehow comes across this and leaves a mean comment, that's not going to affect me as much as it would someone in my real life, like deciding that they don't want to accept me. If it's someone in my life, I'm losing something there, and I don't think I'm mentally stable enough right now to be losing people. I'm not sad. Well, I am sad, but I'm not devastated. I just don't want boobs, you know? Like, I think they're great, just not on me. I am an asexual gay gender suit. I am evolution's biggest cock-up and the world's worst contestant for Love Island.
If there's anything I need y'all to understand, it's that Black queer folk do not owe you the syllabus to our queerness. We don't have to go through the checklist of our existence to determine whether or not we deserve humanity. And I don't have to reduce myself to make space for your fragility. Why should I perform gender for cis heteropatriarchy? In its trail of dissonance and dysphoria, what is my incentive to perform maleness? What is the reward? Conformity? Access? I think the real question is, why have we subscribed to antiquated Western ideologies on gender? Rhetoric that never made space for Black and brown folk to begin with, to be present. Real talk. Black women, when have you ever been afforded the softness, innocence, and vulnerability of white cishet femininity? Black men, what will you have to do to earn the dignity of a white man without adhering to a system that intentionally stands in opposition of not only you, but the Black femme body? No. Gender, as it's been set on this table before us, is colonial, and I refuse. I refuse to participate in the disenfranchisement of self. Y'all can keep it.
I'm just torn about things people do that are so stupid and lame. And I know that they are ignorant, but they should be reading more. They should be finding out more resources, more information. And if you have a question for a person like me who's gender fluid, I have no issues saying that out loud finally, because I discovered who I am, and creating my content and everything that I do helped me a ton with this. Helped me to recognize that it's okay, that I love to go from masculine to feminine, and that I love to just fluctuate in gender, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's the message that I want to carry and that I want to deliver to all of you, my beautiful babies, because I do care about you, and I do want that people learn and educate themselves a little bit more.
I've come to the conclusion that I identify as gender fluid. Well, I had a moment for a while where I was stuck. I was on one side, I was identifying as a cis female, and I kept thinking, like, oh, do I want to make the jump over to being a trans man? But I really didn't feel comfortable making that jump, but I also didn't feel comfortable staying as a female. And then I realized there's a middle ground.
8e arrondissement, 7 8. J'suis dans tout ce qui n'est pas permis, j'suis dans des mauvais jazz. Ça flingue, ça canard, jambenga, sous la nourade, papa Meloko, Kojojo, Liga, Adriano, c'est les savants. Kishta, Bukaka, Valles, ya si quieres dinero, lo siento, no tengo, she takes my dinero, take my dinero.
Hey guys, how are we
feeling today about presentation? We gotta pick something.
Well, it has been a little bit of time since we presented feminine.
Pick me.
Yeah, you're right. I just don't want people to see me as a girl, you know? I said pick me. If you're not feeling it today, there's always another day. Hey, pick me. We want to be a cute e-boy. We want people to love us.
Bruh, that has nothing to do with anything.
You want to pick me so bad. Why can't you just help us pick something that's more comfortable instead of begging to pick you?
Not this again. It's okay, Moth. Don't let them influence you. You pick what you're most comfortable with.
Yeah, and we're most comfortable being a cute, gay e-boy.
Or at least having that vibe, right?
You know what? My feminine side is right. Maybe I do want to be cute. Maybe I do want to look like a princess. I'm gonna do just that. We're going feminine today. Oh, yay!
Bruh.
So when I went to university, for example, I was like, do you know what? I did fight it. I suppressed it. And I went the complete opposite way. I went super girly. I was like, right, I'm gonna decorate my whole room pink. I had a little stuffed toy chihuahua. Pink bedding. And I was like, nope, come on, you're a girl. Let's be girly. And there'd be some days where I'd feel so uncomfortable, but I just thought, come on, no, you were born a girl, act like a girl. And that's what I did for a few years of my life. But the older I've got, the more uncomfortable I feel with it. And I would just like people to respect my decision to be known as just a person.
We need to open ourselves into understanding the community that we march for, that we are at Pride for, that we stand together for, that we're all like, yeah, for. If we don't get it, then how do we expect other people to get it? So we need to get it so that it's easier for you to get it. Get it? Just because I identify as a lesbian does not mean that I understand everybody's background and how they identify. I didn't even know that you could identify as something else. I didn't even know that there were pronouns, all right, which absolutely shocked me when I moved to the UK from South Africa. And I feel, in all honesty, that there are a lot of people out there in the LGBT community who feel the same way as I do. Some people don't give a shit and don't want to know about it, but I want to know about the rest of the spectrum. I want to educate myself so that I can understand more.
I gotta do stuff to help me out. I gotta do stuff to help the person out that's younger than me. Because look, I didn't have anybody to tell me, yo, you gender fluid, yo, you LGBT, yo, you this, yo, you okay, you. You know what I mean? A lot of folks will tell you like, okay, fine, you're a lesbian, fine, you are whatever you identify as. You don't gotta throw it out there. But if y'all know who y'all are, and it's the word for you guys is already out there, and it's a millions of y'all, we as us. And I don't want to exclude nobody, but for real, as the person that I am, I gotta present it to folks. I gotta keep throwing it. That's why I'm an activist for this, y'all. I gotta keep pushing this out there because I don't want to have a kid younger than me do something wrong because they don't know who they are and they getting picked on and bullied every day they go to school. Or not even a kid, but an adult. I ain't learned who I was until my mid-20s. You feel me? So this video was very important to me, y'all. Like, getting through thoughts of not wanting to be here. I don't even speak of that word, but for real, you just gotta know who you are, embrace who you are, and love yourself, because at the end of the day, you still will wake up the next day the same damn person.